presence here, to our participants and attendees, your active engagement and participation have made this conference meaningful.
At the very outset, I, on behalf of the Nagaland School Education Administrative Officers Association, take this privilege to warmly welcome each one of you to this August gathering of 15th General Conference of Nagaland School Education Administrative Officers Association this morning. Well, our association was formed on 8 August 1990 with a handful of officers led by Sri O.N. Maran as its first ad-hoc convener, and subsequently on 16 November 1990, Sri D. Gurung was elected its first president and Sri O.N. Maran as General Secretary. And as per record, I want to clarify that Nagaland School Education Administrative Officers Association is confined to elementary and secondary cadres only, because at the time of formation, those were the only officers in the department, and accordingly registration was done as per Society Registration Act. Therefore, there is no confusion about the nomenclature of our association. And since formation, the association has been rendering all-out support and services to the department as a responsible registered officers association for the last 34 years of its existence. However, it is saddening to observe that very often the government failed to address the genuineness to groom their personnel management, particularly in the rank of officers over the years, which has resulted in a cadre not being able to fill up the 2 additional director sanctioned posts since July 2020 and the post of Director School Education since May 2017 respectively. Besides, many deserving officers were denied of their promotion in the past years, and till today, hardly a cadre could occupy the post of Joint Director is a serious service matter to be looked into. We all are aware that school education department is manned by 2 main cadres, such as elementary and secondary cadre and higher secondary cadre, besides primary teachers, handy teachers, physical education teachers, language teachers, planning, and then ministerial employees, and each of the cadre needs service benefits as per Nagaland rules according to its hierarchy. And it is bound to protect all the categories of employees as per the nature of appointment, and need to ensure that there should not be encroachment of posts from among the different cadres to avoid confrontation. As stated, when the department has numerous categories of employees, there was no proper teachers recruitment policy. Therefore, the department has been encountering multiple cases of service regularization. Also, unless I'm not mistaken, the last departmental graduate teacher recruitment was held in 1992. It's been maybe 33 years. After which, a ad hoc appointment system started and has resulted surplus appointment of teachers, proxy, ghost, and absenteeism practices took place. And in order to regularize their services, the government used different yardstick and service condition that has turned into a catastrophic situation for seniority list, deal debt, and hampering their service guarantee.
The role goes beyond mere management. They are the builders of the foundation upon which the students' educational journey are constructed. And through effective leadership, they set the tone for positive and inclusive school culture. Education administrators must balance competing interests, allocating resources wisely to maximize the students' achievement and well-being. That we are all aware. The school education department is a service delivery department, delivering service to the children, to our schools, to our people. And therefore, our interest, our priority should be allocating our resources, our human resources, wisely to maximize students' achievement. Leadership and decision making. The role of an education administrator is distinguished by its emphasis on leadership and decision making. Their decisions and guidance set the tone for the entire organization, influencing the school culture and ultimately the student outcome. The leadership they provide extends to creating and maintaining a positive and inclusive environment. I think we also have to ask ourselves whether our leadership is providing an inclusive environment or not. Their responsibilities demand strategic decision-making skills, navigating the intricacies, which requires nuanced approach and that balances the diverse interests and priorities. Next, leading and supervising the faculty and staff. One of the primary jobs of the education administrators is providing leadership to the teachers and to the other staff working in their organizations. Some of you are still in the schools as school administrators, but most of you are already here in the directorate and in the district establishments as administrators. So whether we are able to provide that leadership to our schools, to our organization or not. Administrators are held accountable for the success or failure of the educational institutions, so they have a significant stake in making sure that they work with the superiors and subordinates as a team. Teamwork is critical for an administrator. Teamwork with your colleagues, teamwork with your subordinates, as well as your superiors. And here, when we are talking about school education, we would also like to talk about teamwork with officers in the other cadres. Teamwork, whether it's in the planning cadre or in the other cadres, we have to work as a team because our objective is the same. Whether you belong to the secondary cadre or to the elementary cadre or to the higher secondary cadre, our objective is the same. And therefore, teamwork is critical. And I want all of us to ponder about that. Creating and maintaining a positive and inclusive school office teamwork culture. This, I want all of us to think about it and to inculcate this habit of working as a team for school education and not as an officer of separate cadres. For administrators, inspection, monitoring, and supervision of staff is critical, which we are all aware of. And in the school education department, we need to improve, we need to enhance our inspection and monitoring activities. Interpretation of information and data analysis. You might be wondering why I have included this, but it is important. As administrators, we should be able to read data. We should be able to interpret data, analyze data, and infer from it. how many schools we have, how many teachers we have. What is the kind of indicators which we have in our school? What is the retention rate or enrollment rate? We need to be able to interpret data and take corrective action. When we are able to interpret data correctly or information correctly, then we will be able to take decisions, we will be able to formulate policies accordingly. Next, embrace technology. All of us are aware of the advancements in information technology. During our times, IT was not so common. The use of IT was not so common. But now in our schools, we are now installing smart classrooms, smart TVs. We are now installing computers in all our schools. And we have to upgrade, we have to update ourselves with the advancement in technology. Otherwise, we will become obsolete. We cannot be saying that we na jane. We never learn. We have to learn. We have to start learning. And it is not difficult if we are willing to learn. And therefore, embracing technology is critical for all of us. Otherwise, we will be left behind. School administrators as builders of foundations for academic success. As administrators in the school education department, we are responsible for designing and implementing educational policies. We are not just teachers teaching in the school who have been promoted, but we are, and with your experience, you're expected that you will be involved in the designing of the educational policies. You'll be involved in the curriculum development with your inputs, with your suggestions, and not just implementing the curriculum provided by the SCRT or by the NCRT, but we are also responsible to give our inputs for the curriculum design for the educational policies. As administrators who have had the field experience, you are better placed to give your suggestions, to give your inputs, and contextualize our educational programs. And therefore, we should come forward rather than expecting someone else to do for us. We should come forward to give our suggestions to the SCRT and to the other cells who prepare the curriculum or who design the educational policies. Your inputs are critical. The next is professional growth and updating ourselves on the newest movements in educational administration and in the procedures of the government and the conduct rules. As administrators in the schools, we have been posted to remote locations far away from the administration hub in the Kohima Indirectorate. But we have to be aware of the activities, we have to be aware of the upgradation in knowledge which is happening elsewhere. We now have various medium platforms where we can learn even by ourselves. So we have to upgrade ourselves. We now have various training programs for our officers, but in addition to that, there are various platforms available for us where we can update our knowledge. We also have to update our knowledge on the government rules and policies. We have to update ourselves on the procedures. When we don't do that, we will be violating many of the government rules. And most of us are not aware that there are government conduct rules. Even submission of ultimatums, representations, there are channels to do that. You cannot be, as a government servant, you cannot be submitting ultimatum to the government. If you have grievances, there are various ways of airing your grievances, expressing your grievances, or representing to the government. But ultimatum from a government servant to the government is not done. So we have to apprise ourselves, we have to update ourselves on the government rules and procedures.
So today, along with our departmental officers led by our Madam Commissioner, Madam Yhome, and all the officers here, I warmly salute all of you. Some of you, you had taken journeys, mercies, coming from different parts of the state. So you all had a very tiring time. But I hope that your deliberation today will be good. And I also wish to congratulate the team which is to come, replacing our dynamic. He had given us a lot. Thank you, sir, for your contributions in your various capacities. It's also a personal achievement, but personal achievements notwithstanding everything is also because of the support, the team which you have. I am not a very diplomatic person, as some of you, we are meeting for the first time for some of you, but I like to get into the facts of business. And we are here to deliver. We are here as individuals in our own capacity. We are committed into our own business, into our own profession, and we are here in the interest of public service. We are serving our job, but to what extent we are happy, to what extent we are unhappy, is measured in the terms of the 178 court cases which was there when I joined the department. It has come down to 108 as of now. There are no solutions from some of these court cases, but some solutions will come when the case also disappear or when people retire. And if you look carefully at these 108 court cases, it is all related to service matters. It is all related to squabblings within ourselves, infighting within ourselves, and all sorts of denials, which comes in the form of fights over seniority, fights in the form of entitlements. So today, like how I've been telling our directorate officers, I want to also challenge all of you. Are we prepared to fight more? Or are we here for a purpose? Are we here to serve our people? Are we here for the larger interest of our children who are out there in the field? Are we all fighting so that we outsmart each other, so and so forth? I'm sorry to say this because I want you to recollect when you first joined your service. I'm much younger than all of you, but when you first joined the service, you were also young, you were also full of dynamism. Not that you do not have just now, but as a bright young boy and girl who had just graduated, who had just earned the degrees, you are out there to give the best of yourself for your children, for your school children. I do not know. In the process, I do not know whether it has waned or not, but I've been telling our officers, seniority has killed our department. And of course, there are a lot more things. Last year, we have introduced training for our principals and our promotee assistant headmasters. There has been no training for the teachers. We know in Karnataka, all DEOs are lateral entry, and we have been mooting some of these ideas of late. I want my teacher, because I've been also a teacher, you were all once upon a time teacher, standing in front of your classroom, standing in front of the blackboard, and today, through your din of hard work, you have risen to this level, to this occasion. But you were never trained as an administrator, and we must recollect and we must remember that being a teacher is completely different from being an administrator. So today, we have our own structural issues to be looked at. I am not blaming all the officers. What I'm saying is, we were not given that opportunity to be given training. Now it will become mandatory for all teachers who are to get into the field of what we call administration to be given that responsibilities. The third aspect of teacher and administrator is the professionalism of being a leader in the form of a head of an institution. We have all been head of institutions. Recently, we took our department for a tour. And in developed countries, they have the dignity of calling a head teacher, what we call head teacher of a primary school, as principal. A secondary school head of institution is also called principal. A higher secondary school head of institution is also called principal. But today, in our case, we call high schools as headmasters. We call principals of higher secondaries as principals. And we call that little school around the corner the head of institution as head of teachers. So today, what we see within our department are layers of discrimination, a little bit of casteism. So we have 68 job profiles, some of which we are rationalizing it, like a cinema operator assistant, a ferry operator, things like that. So that process is being rationalized. If you look at the hierarchy of our administration, of our administrative officers, what I've come to realize is that you are doing it purely on the scale of your scale of pay. So the idea of your organization also, I'm a little bit confused because since the higher secondary people are not there, you have not included them. And when I asked our president just now, I said, can a PGT teacher be called as an administrative officer? Yes, because of his pay scale. So if it is like that, right now we have 666 postgraduate teachers who are being excluded from you. A very dangerous number, 666. So today my job as the elect member representing our department is to protect all of us, is to fight for all of us at the government level. And I'm there with you, for you. What you must understand is that the dignity of serving in our department has to be. Every member of our department, many of you are left without any dignity. Within the teaching class also, there are 4 categories: the regular till the fixed teacher. Within the employees also, you have regular ones till those who are getting ad hoc or scale to the level of those who are earning fixed under the minimum wages. So it is our job to bring back dignity to every individual. You are officers. I'm there for you. It is your job to guide me properly. You have been here in the job for 20-25 years. Some of you on the verge of your retirement. You know what the problems, what the issues are. And likewise, I've been doing a lot of consultancy with our different organizations, with our different cadres, with our different groups. So through your guidance, we will have to see what is possible, what is not possible, and at times we have to raise up our hands and say that we have made a mistake, but we cannot do anything about it. We cannot keep dragging ourselves. We cannot keep dragging ourselves like this anymore. So some issues we can solve. Some issues we need to sacrifice today. You are unhappy. You are unhappy because a misdeed has been done to you by a particular section of our own federation, of our own family. So sometimes we need to come across the table, but through understanding that you are also sacrificing, after listening to you that you had also expressed your grievances, we had to relent to each other. We need to understand each other. And for that, overhauling our cadre system is important. We need to put our service rule in place after thoroughly evolving ourselves out of our cadre. There are also a lot of mistrust. For instance, the mistrust between the directorate and the Samagra. We have the ongoing project which is nestled in our directorate, the World Bank project. These are all fraternal parts of our organization. From Delhi, since education is the current list, we need to have the Samagra up and running. The wisdom of our seniors, they had brought in this lighthouse project. But once the project is over, World Bank Lighthouse Nectar project, they will move out. Their staffs will also move out. I've been telling our officers, when I first joined the department, I asked, give me the statistics. There was no statistics. Helter-skelter, they were running to Nectar. They were running to Samagra to gather statistics for me. The directorate or the director is what pumps the blood into the entire system. The directorate or the director is what directs what we should be doing. Today, I'm sorry to tell you this, there is inefficiency, there is a total breakdown of our machinery. How a file is being initiated even in the directorate, I must say, it is pathetic. So today we are all working together, we are all putting our heads together, and we need to restructure this, and we need to make sure that the directorate will be standing after all other organizations leave us, and the directorate should be there doing its finer job. So today we all have to put our heads together, and the kind of support I'm getting from the organization, from all of you, that is elementary, that is currently very crucial because of all the officers, you had the best experiences, you had the most promising experiences. I also like to take the instance that infighting should stop in between us. Like for example, currently, out of the 16 DEOs, 4 DEOs are under the charge of PGDs. There is nothing called quota system. And if you look at the sheet of what do we call our current posting of DEO, SDEO, and AEO, only Mokjun has those 3 sets. The other districts, you all have vacancies. Vacancies are there, we are not able to fill up. I also want to inform you this, and I do not want you to panic. We had already taken an executive decision that DEOs, SDEO, and AEO posts in some districts will be handled by the civil administration as a stopgap arrangement. So I do not want you to panic. This is only a stopgap arrangement. I'm not blaming anybody here, but we need to put energy. We need to put accountability into our officers. You retire today. Tomorrow another person comes. Another 3-4 months down the line, that person retires. There is no accountability in our setup. So we will create that system where accountability will be there. Today we are sending our officers, and they are all tying up with all our officers at the field. We are inspecting the schools. We had 4 or 5 briefings at the directorate with our officers who are supposed to go out to the field. I am happy but very disappointed because it is not like I had one meeting. We had 4 or 5 rounds of meetings of what to do. Every classroom, the top, the ceiling, the size of all the 4 walls, and the floor of class A needs to be photographed. And that has to be recorded. The benches has to be recorded. What are the position of the benches? The blackboard has to be recorded in the form of photographic evidence. And this is just class 1. Class A, 1 classroom. Every classroom needs to have photo evidence, and that is where we will create a dossier of every individual school till every classroom. And that is the job of our officers, to instruct. Then I had the inventory of what Samagra has been doing for our various schools. Where is the television set which was given to your school 15 years ago? Is it spoiled? If it is spoiled, where it is? Where is it? Or is it in the house of our headmaster? All inventories, consumables, which were given to the department, I had the inventory now. We are coming back to check all this. If the computer is spoiled, where is it? So everything will now be recorded, and this exercise will bring efficiency into our system. We cannot be lackadaisical. We are utilizing public properties. Public properties has to be where it is. If it is spoiled, it has to be reported. So these are some of the areas where we will put a complete dossier with a very thick document about the profile of every school, that is infrastructure. Then we will have a complete set of issues relating to land, grade 4 issues, grade 4 posts. That will also be documented. Then we will have an entire history of teachers who are posted there and who have been posted, are currently posted there. So these are some of the areas where you as officers in the field, you have to lend your support. We will be sending more, and I think we are unable to understand each other. I do not know whether it's an issue of age, but I don't think so. But what is important is that now all this needs to be said. Today we have no idea how many schools we have also. Nobody knows how many schools we have. I'm sorry to say this. We were able to generate data for every employee of ours. Not through the directorate, through the efficient nectar team. It's not your job. And I said, let's get this done in 6 months. They said, it's impossible. I forced them to do it. We got it done in 4 months. Can the directorate do it? Can our original people do it? This is what I want to question you. Where is our efficiency? So it is important for us to reclaim our efficiency. So what we have noticed is that there is no professional growth. Itu kang durit hagin na yata para retire hobo. With that mentality we have been working. We need new infusion. Nothing is indispensable. If you are no longer happy with your job, you put in your retirements and leave. But we also must understand that as a big family, we have big issues. We are unable to understand each other. For example, we have been fighting for TF for teachers, especially when you have been transferred. Our education department, a vehicle which is already rotten 20 years ago. In government papers, we are still driving that one. Because we have not initiated condemnation of that vehicle. So in government papers, we are still using that vehicle. We have never condemned any vehicle. If you don't condemn vehicle, how can we get new vehicles for our field officers? Because government thinks that we are still using all those vehicles. So we have not even done our basic jobs. And today, no vehicle. We'll never have vehicles because the government paper says that we still have this much number of vehicles. So the entire structure of the directorate has to be converted into, resettled into, and for that we need your cooperation. For that we will be initiating the Nagaland Education Administrative Service. Till the time she has been or she takes medical retirement, or till the time she is removed from that place, we cannot send in another teacher, and they won't have a teacher. So we have realized that many of our teachers, they carry real burden. Some of them are into their last stage of survival. We need to get all these reports. Papers are coming straight to me, straight to Madam Cabinet, straight to our directors. We do not know the field condition. It has to be vetted at your level, at the district level. They have to be investigated. We need to care for them. We need to understand the pain they are going through. All heart-wrenching, miserable stories of pain and loss and tears. That's how you ask for your transfer orders. That we have become immune to all this, and we are not able to recognize that there in a corner, somebody is suffering. It is our job as a big department. We have to personalize our administration. Personalizing each other. Take the case of a school which I visited when I first joined. In fact, the first school which I joined. The Longri Mendang High School in Sudikong. The first school I visited after Azimuddin. The teachers, including the head of institution, they have uniforms, they wear t-shirts. The camaraderie, the closeness they have. And there are two high schools, by the way, in Sudikong. One is run by our great church organization. So only one can survive. Our government school is doing well and the other one is going down. Today we have challenges where we hung our head in shame when metric results come out. There is no need. I tell our officers, I tell everybody, what can you do? Pull in their ears. In class 10, class 9, we have the highest number of children, and many of these children will be stopping their formal education forever. The highest number of children are in class 9. And it's sad. If they were with us for another couple of years, perhaps they would have become another person. But they are going away from our system. So I've been telling teachers, be kinder to our children in class 9. Likewise, what I can tell you is that overall, whether you are in urban area or in rural area, I don't trust, I have lots of trust deficits. I don't trust our village, our SMCs. We should not trust them. And we should not trust our teachers also, by the way, officers. We should have low trust level till we reform things. We have to specify, we have to go and check it for ourselves. In my constituency, which is just next to Kohima, there is a school in Chedema Model School. They regularly, turn by turn, go to the village down there to bring 2 children from the Kuti to Nepalese. Forcefully bring them to the school because once these 2 are not there, it is 0 enrollment. So teacher has to be taken out. So immediately we have just taken the decision that we will be closing down 27 schools. We will be closing nearly 100 schools this year. Our target is to close down about 450 schools in the next 3 to 4 years. We will make our schools more productive. We will make sure that our schools are efficient. We will make sure that this appeasement policy of everybody, every big village Kel wants to have a school, that we should stop. We are also encountering the problems of the mushrooming of private schools. So right now we have 706 private schools. Recently we have given recognition for 69 private schools to be recognized. We call it provisional. I have gone over the rules. None of the schools fit into the policy framework which we have made amended in 2018. Not all of them fit into this. So now we will ask them to retrofit according to the rule of law which was there. We will now apply a lot of rules. Our new recruitment, we will be taking in some, what do we call it, ministerial staffers. We will be opening up a lot more higher secondary because colleges are now not allowed to take up 11 and 12. We were not prepared for that. Mon district alone, 1,439 passed matriculation this year. If they come to Kohima, Dimapur for class 11, there is no room for them. And in Mon, unfortunately, many will not be going to class 11 because simply there is no more facility for them to take up. So a place like Kohima, Rezakriya, or like the higher secondary schools which we have, you put the doors saying that only classroom can accommodate 80 people, 60 people. After that, you shut your doors. But look at Jaluki Arts. They had to take in 161 because they cannot shut their doors. So much public pressure. No plug. 157 class 11 admission arts. So there is a new vibe coming up. People are beginning to trust our system now. If our higher secondaries are slowly coming to place, Suna was it. Everybody is clamoring for our higher secondaries. Why cannot we make our high schools the same thing? Why cannot we? The importance of, it's not just socialist agenda, but the importance of re-strengthening our organization vis-a-vis through our school is, our people are so poor. Education, everybody, every family is invested in this. And yet, they borrow for readmission in private schools. They don't come to our school because they don't trust our schools anymore. We need to rebuild that trust with the public. We will prior hand inform that we are sending these teachers. We will let the public know that these teachers are now being posted, so on and so forth. Let the public bring back their children and put them in our schools, because this will help rural indebtedness. Our people are so poor, and yet today the largest development money which is spent is on education. And the state government is also spending money on this, but it is also the individual parents, the poorest of the poorest parents, who are pulling out money from their pockets through borrowing and spending it on education. So today, once our department put things into place, our economy, rural economy, will also grow. They rear one pig. They don't even get to eat a piece of its meat. They sell right away for their children's education. It is our task to bring back rural economy through our school education system also. And officers, you had a lot of experiences. I wish all of you can put in your thing through a format. Take a little time. We are all used to all these things. Let us reactivate our brain. Let us reactivate our motor skills. And let us put in memoirs. Let us put in suggestions. Let us put in all these things so that we all collectively put our minds. We had just initiated the early child and care education. For us to see results, we have to go back to the roots. By pulling their ears in class 9, 10, we are not going to do anything. We are not going to get at anything. So it is important for us that the progress which ultimately will come, many of us will not see, but as teachers, it's a noble profession because we work for others, not for ourselves. It is called noble because we are giving our best for others, which is not even our family or our close friends. So today, let us endeavor, because all of you first step into the noble profession. Today you have risen to being officers. So I salute all of you. Harsh work sometimes comes out, but let us also audit ourselves and let us all personalize our relationship, because private schools are doing better because there is a lot of personalization. Everybody knows each other and there is a lot of teamwork. Let us all also sacrifice our bitterness if it is for good, but last and final, let us not let our children inherit the mess. Let us all put our minds together and clear our mess as far as possible. With that long speech, thank you all so much.